And it's a pleasure to be here with my personal political consultant, Rabbi Yitz Frank, and Mr. John Barnes, who is a candidate for state senate here in Ohio.
You know, as a friend, I'm excited that he's willing to run again, and it's not easy to do that. And he has a lot of experience. He's a people first kind of guy. He puts his district first all the time. He's focused on the bottom line. What makes the most difference to the people in my district all the time.
Representative Barnes, how are you? Give us an introduction for those of us who don't have the pleasure of knowing you personally yet.
In these turbulent times, we really need a leader that has experience in bringing people together to work together so that we can build a better tomorrow for our community and the future of our young people. The Jewish community and the African American community and the 107 different ethnic groups from all over the world that make up Northeast Ohio have always worked together in terms of the democratic process. And but this has become a little more stormy. So my focus has been on letting people know that I work hard to bring people together to work together, and I'll be a full-time senator that will deliver for all of us. I have a record of doing that.
This is a campaign to be the Democratic nominee for the Senate District 21, and that's going to be on Tuesday. Obviously, in a district that looks like Senate District 21, the Democratic primary is the election. I mean, it's 80's always been known to do is that he's willing to think about what matters most in his district, and sometimes he's been willing to do things in a more bipartisan way than would be politically convenient. Let me just give an example because it's a huge topic in the news. Intel is coming to Ohio, which is a huge impact. Well, what most people don't know is that John was the only, or maybe one of two members of the Democratic Party that voted for the bill that ultimately resulted in that.
First of all, school choice is the law. And it's a part of our budget process. It has been before and has been sustained by the U.S. Supreme Court. And I think that we have to look at people and focus on what satisfies them in terms of decisions that they make about their children. And so it's a matter of choice. And those choices are consistent with our democracy, and they have been tested and proven in a court of law. So
one of the things that is really a hot button issue in the Jewish community, and a lot of conversation around this, is the rise in anti-Semitism across the country, and unfortunately even here in Ohio, and more specifically Northeast Ohio. A lot of times at a legislative level, that takes on many different shapes and forms. So what are your feelings on some of the approaches that have been taken, most specifically BDS legislation, the boycott, divest, and sanction movement against the state of Israel, which we look at as a anti-Semitic movement and anti-Semitic legislation when it happens in different state houses and state senates. But even beyond that, with different bills and different approaches that come up. What is your take on some of the approaches that have been taken and that hopefully will be taken in the future?
And in fact, when a lot of uprise in terms of anti-Semitism, I contacted many of those mayors and talked to them about using certain security discretions that we have. They declined it, but I felt it was important for me to reach out to make sure that our community and all citizens are protected, particularly the Jewish community, with the issue of anti-Semitism. People need, we have to meet it head on. We have to state what our positions are in terms of anti-Semitism. And we have to denounce people who participate in a process of promoting hate. And the African American community and the Jewish community have similarities in terms of the challenges that we've had with civil rights, where people from the Jewish community has stood with the African American community.
I, for one, as a community activist, will be voting for Mr. Barnes, for John Barnes, for state senate this Tuesday, August 2nd. The primary date is on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, August 2nd, is the Democratic ballot in the primary is really our one chance to have a say in who we want to represent us in Columbus. And Ohio is an open primary state, so it doesn't matter how someone wants to vote in other elections, vis-a-vis statewide elections, vis-a-vis national elections, but this is a local election, and the decision is really made at the primary level.
I say this in every election, but this time I'm actually 100% serious. Turnout is really, really, really low. Like, your vote will matter this Tuesday more than almost any other election that I can think of